Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mastrius for this sneak peek with artist and mentor Joseph Lorusso. At Mastrius, we get teaching advice, personal feedback, and support from a master artist of your choice so you can reach your goals, your style, at your pace. I'm your host, Anna Zanella, and today I'm thrilled to introduce you to Joseph Lorusso. Joseph is regarded as a leading figure in the area of contemporary figurative realism. In his course on Mastrius, he will be explaining and demonstrating his three-step process on how he constructs a painting in the studio. Today, he's going to do a short demo and we can talk a little bit. We'll talk about and get a taste of his process. I'm really excited to dive in. So, Joseph, I'll pass it on to you and you can tell us more about it.
Enjoying the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when new Mastrius videos are added.
Well, hi, Anna. Thanks for having me. So this shouldn't take too long, but basically, I'm known as doing a lot of narrative, figurative work, and a lot of my work tends to tell a story. And in the classes that I teach, I basically kind of go over a process that I've developed. It's nothing new. I haven't reinvented the wheel or anything, but it's basically something that I've kind of brought my own approach to. And it's kind of a three-step process, as I call it. And I hate to use the word steps because there's no formulas to painting, obviously, and creating art. But for me, there's three major demarcation points, let's say, in this process. And one is the drawing part, getting that accurate. Number two is the blocking in part. And number three is painting in full color. And so when I do classes, I always call it, I usually title it constructing a painting, because to me, it's kind of like putting puzzle pieces or blocks together. And ultimately, if that's done correctly, the painting kind of comes together. So that's most of my classes are involved, titled constructing a painting, or the process of constructing a painting, things like that. So in our class from Mastrius, it's going to be very similar. And so what we would do is, for example, we would turn the camera around here. So if you could look, here's an example that I have on the easel. Right now on your screen, it probably just looks like a bunch of blotches of color. But if we zoom in closer, you can see that there's some line drawing here. Okay. And here's a woman's face, if you could see it through the tone of the panel. And here's my reference that I'll just tape up next to it of my model, Brittany, that came in, and I take a bunch of photos of her. And then the idea here was to have a beautiful, glamorous woman kind of leaning up against a car in maybe a European scene, Italy, France, something romantic. And she's fixing her strap on her shoe, as often happens. And so I'll get my reference material together. And then the first step is to do a drawing on my panel. Okay. I work on panel mostly. I don't really work on canvas. And so if you could see here, there's the drawing that I've done. Maybe a little hard to tell, but I'll do the drawing. I fix that on my panel, and then I put a transparent wash of color. When I say wash, a transparent wash of oil paint over that, to where I already have things laid out and planned out. And that's kind of these big blotches of color that you're seeing there. And obviously, I'm going to reiterate that during the course, we will kind of go through each of these steps in detail and help the students along. We'll all be painting together, basically. I found that over the years that working from the same reference for class purposes is really helpful, because then we're all doing the same thing and they follow along with what I'm doing. And so it really makes more sense. So that would be step one. And that usually dries in a couple of days if I need to put dryers in the paint or what have you, but that usually dries pretty quickly. And as you could tell, I'll show you here, this has all been dry. It's not going anywhere. And so then what I do is I'll oil out on top of this, which is take a little bit of my medium and I'll rub it on the top of this surface once it's dried. And then I start on the second phase, which is, for example, for this piece. So this piece is going to be a very popular topic and theme for me. It's
very romantic scene of two women kind of driving in a sports car, kind of, they call it the Thelma and Louise kind of theme. And as you can see here again, I've tacked my reference material of my models that I've shot in the studio. And while I was taught to paint and draw from life when I was in art school, I think a lot of artists working today will admit that the reality of studio painting isn't conducive to painting from life all the time. So I do work from photographs most of the time. I will also reiterate in class that working from photographs isn't going to do you any good if you don't have enough experience working and painting from life. So that is always a prerequisite to anything that we're doing. And we'll assume that most of the students have some experience at that. But given that, working from photographs, I've got my drawing down, as I showed you in the previous step. And then in the second step, we'll do a kind of an underpainting, a little what I call the poor man's grisaille. And so it's just basically taking some tonal values, some maybe in this case raw umber, a little olive green or raw alizarin crimson, and just kind of having a darker tone and just putting in my darkest darks and establishing kind of where those are, and just kind of gives myself a roadmap as to where the darkest darks are going to be. Okay, and then once that is done and that dries, and again, I can come back here and that is dry, that's not going anywhere. To me, these are the hardest and most time-consuming parts of the process, because all the problems should really be solved at this point as far as drawing and the foundation of the piece, because no amount of wonderful color or brushwork is going to save it if the drawing and the foundation is incorrect. So the drawing part and the underpainting are really, really the underpinnings of any sound painting, in my opinion. So once that is dried, again, thoroughly, I'll again oil out on top of that, and then I will just do full color painting. Let me switch over here. I'm back. And so once that is dried, then I will do just full color painting on top of that. And what I mean by full color, I just dive right in and I just start painting. And so here's a sneak peek at a piece that I should be finishing today, hopefully. And again, this is a piece of a woman. It's also Brittany. She's a great model, and I had an idea of having a beautiful kind of European scene of a woman fixing her makeup or putting on some lipstick. And she's standing next to a scooter, her scooter possibly, with her little purse and gloves, that kind of thing, and kind of a romantic European scene again. But this painting has taken the same process of the other ones. So it was the drawing, the underpainting, and now I'm just painting it in full color. And hopefully today, my goal is to get the dress all finished and blocked in. And I think if I reach around here, I could show so there was my reference for her. And hopefully I should get this one completed today. And I'm very pleased with it so far. So no one has seen this painting yet. And so hopefully it won't change much between now that I've shown it to you and the finished piece. But very, very pleased with this. And once this is dried and varnished, it should go out to one of my galleries. But so yeah, so that is basically the process. And once we get in, excuse my fat fingers there. So once we get into the course, we will go through those. We won't be working this large necessarily. We'll be doing more, we'll start out with a head study, maybe the first week, just to kind of get a feel for things, and then maybe graduate into something a little bit bigger, but nothing this size, no 30, 36s. I do a lot of squares, so no, these are all 36, 40, 40s, but nothing that big. It'll all be more manageable. But hopefully we'll all be working together, hand in hand. And it kind of, we can look at what the other person is doing, what problems and challenges the other person is having, and hopefully I'm there to kind of, I don't want to say hold your hand, but I'm just kind of there to help you along. I find that to be really helpful, because otherwise, if you don't do that, then you let the students loose, and then they just get confused, or they just, well, how was that again, or how did he do that again? And so I want to be sure that I'm there um, at any time for them to kind of come with any issues or problems or challenges that they might have. So
And so I was gonna just ask you, so your course is gonna run through the whole month of November, Saturdays and Sundays, 2 hours each day, and then students will have time to paint in between and bring work to the next class?
correct, yeah. So as we changed things a little bit, because I thought having smaller bites, we were going to do a 4-hour class via Zoom, which to me just sounded like it was a lot to keep people kind of focused for 4 hours on a screen. And so what we ended up doing was we broke it down to 2 hours per student, per course. I'm sorry, per installment, and that way it's a much more digestible kind of way to go about taking things in. And what we'll do is, I'll demonstrate, I'll show what I'm doing, and so forth. And then in the end, we'll say, okay, I'll let you loose. You can go on and paint. And next week, come with what you've done during the week and any issues or problems. And then, so that we'll hopefully keep progressing week after week.
Okay, that's awesome. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. I think deadline course is going to be starting fairly soon. So anyone that's interested, I think we have a few spots left. So I would go ahead and sign up, and I'm eager to get rolling.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I just want to thank everyone that's watching our video as well. I hope you got excited as much as I did. It looks like an amazing course and content that Joseph's going to be sharing with us. I just want to let everybody know that if you're interested in signing up, the way to go is to check us out on Mastrius.com. So that's Mastrius.com. Everything we do is live, interactive, and online. You can get your questions answered in real time and learn exactly what you're looking for to reach your goals faster. I'm a member and I absolutely love it. I'm learning and growing my skills fast in a community that is super supportive. So yeah, we hope you can join us and sign up for the class. Again,
And if I can interject real quick, not to interrupt, but one thing that I just thought about for the class, besides the technical, process of putting the painting together and constructing the painting, I'm always discussing other aspects of making a living as an artist. So, which I find students are really invaluable, and they always ask questions about, how do you, what kind of supplies, everything from, supplies, toxicity issues, technical issues, to, the business of art, galleries, relationships with galleries, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really an open book when it comes to that, and at least through sharing my experience in the last 35 years. I don't know everything, obviously, but all I can do is share what I have. So
that sounds amazing. Thank you very much, Joseph. We'll see you next time.
okay, take care.